Some people can hear a name once and remember it for years. They meet 5 new people in one night and somehow remember every single one by morning. And then there are people who can meet someone 2 or 3 times and still forget their name right when they need it most. Not because they do not care, not because they were not listening, and not because they are rude. In fact, sometimes the people who forget names the most are the people who were paying the most attention, just not to the name. They were paying attention to your face, your tone, your energy, the feeling of the interaction, and whether the moment felt safe, awkward, warm, or tense. And by the time your name arrived, their brain was already busy storing everything else. That is what makes this trait so misunderstood. Because forgetting a name can look like a lack of interest, but very often it is the opposite. Most people assume forgetting names is a memory problem, but that is only part of the story. Because a name is actually a strange kind of information. Socially, it matters a lot, but psychologically, it can be surprisingly thin. A name is often just a sound. It usually does not come with an image. It does not carry a story yet. It does not always have emotional weight. And the brain does not store every kind of information equally. Some minds naturally hold on to verbal labels. Others hold on to emotional impressions. So while one person remembers her name was Rachel, another person remembers she had a calm voice, a sharp laugh, and made me feel instantly comfortable. That does not mean they were less present. It means their mind decided in that moment that the person mattered more than the label. And that difference is bigger than most people realize. You see this happen everywhere. At work during introductions, at weddings, at parties, at networking events. Someone walks up to them smiling, clearly expecting to be remembered. And in that split second, panic kicks in. Because they do remember the person. They remember the face. They remember where they met. They remember the conversation. They may even remember what that person was wearing or the joke they made. But the name, gone. And that is the painful part. They are not forgetting the human being. They are forgetting the tag attached to the human being. And socially, those two things get treated like they are the same. But psychologically, they are not. This becomes even more common when social pressure enters the picture. Because meeting someone new is not just a memory task. It is also a performance. You are listening. You are making eye contact. You are deciding what to say next. You're trying not to sound awkward. You're reading the other person's reaction. You are managing your body language, or and if you are socially anxious, self-conscious, or easily overstimulated, your brain is already carrying too much. So when someone says, "Hi, I'm Daniel," the name may pass through your mind without ever landing properly. Not because you did not hear it, because your attention was divided. And memory depends on attention. What the brain fully notices, it has a chance to store. What it only half processes, it often loses. So in many cases, the problem is not recall. The problem started earlier. The name was never deeply encoded in the first place. And here is the irony. The people who care the most about getting your name right are often the ones who struggle the most under pressure. Because pressure does not always sharpen memory. Very often, it disrupts it. The more they want to remember, the more tense they become. And the more tense they become, the harder it is for the name to come back naturally. So what looks like bad memory is often something more complicated. Selective attention, social pressure, emotional overload. And a brain that prioritizes the feeling of the moment over the label attached to it. That is why this trait so often gets misread. People think, "You forgot my name, so you must not care." But sometimes the truth is almost backwards. They cared so much about the interaction that the name got lost inside everything else. After this happens enough times, people start adapting. They get strategic. They say "hey" instead of using names. They avoid introductions when they can. They wait for someone else to say the name first. They speak carefully. They buy time, they improvise. And on the outside, it may look smooth. But on the inside, there's often a quiet spiral happening. I should remember this. I know this person. I hope they do not notice. I hope they do not think I am cold. That is the hidden emotional cost of this trait. It is not just forgetfulness. It is guilt. It is embarrassment. It is the fear that one small social mistake will make someone feel unimportant. And for people who are already sensitive to awkwardness, that fear can stay with them for hours. At a deeper level, some people seem to process others impressionally before they process them verbally. They remember presence before category, feeling before label, emotional meaning before formal identification. That may sound like a small difference, but it says something important about how certain minds move through the world. Some people are built to organize people quickly. Others are built to feel people deeply. One style is efficient, the other is immersive. And in modern life, immersive minds often struggle more, because the world now asks us to meet more people, faster than ever. At work, online, at events, across overlapping social circles, names come in batches, contexts disappear, faces blur. And for many people, that is not how memory works best. So sometimes the issue is not that someone is bad with names. It is that modern social life asks for a kind of instant recall that does not match the way their mind naturally stores people. So forgetting names is not always disrespect, and it is not always poor memory. Sometimes it reveals what the mind chose to value first. Some people store names, some people store stories, some people store emotional texture. They may forget what you were called, but they remember whether you were kind, whether you felt guarded, whether your energy was heavy or calm, whether something about you stayed with them. And maybe that is the deeper truth. Not every mind remembers people in the same order. Some remember the label first, others remember the person first. And sometimes the people who struggle the most to remember names are the same people who never forget how you made them feel.